Let's raise then the big questions from that story. Can politics be kept out of cricket? Is cricket tangled in political one-upmanship? Is the BCCI about just political power above all else? Questions that I will raise with my panelists. Kirti Azad, former World Cup winner, now Trinamool Congress leader, is joining me. Ajoy Kumar, Congress's spokesperson. Desh Ratan Nigam is someone who strongly supports Prime Minister Narendra Modi. And Pradeep Magazine is senior sports and cricket journalist. I appreciate all of you joining us. I want to come to you, Kirti Azad, first. You're a cricketer. You're a World Cup champion. You're among those who's called the Prime Minister Panoti or a bad omen, as Rahul Gandhi did. Surely that is a low-level comment to make. Surely cricket has nothing to do with whether a politician attends a match or not. It's not as if the 2011 World Cup or 1983 World Cup was won because of Indira Gandhi or 2011 because of the UPA. Just as this World Cup was not lost because of Prime Minister Modi. Why call him a panauti and try and make it out to be as if he's responsible for our defeat?
Minister was there. It is being trended by the public, by crores of people who are on social media. I didn't trend Panauti. I saw that. And I found it very funny that it happened with Chandrayaan and then again here, which obviously was a very serious matter. So I just hashtag that. I simply said that dressing rooms are like a sanctum sanctorium for players. It's something which is very private. It's where you plan. It's where you post-mortem matches. It's where you decide. You find people crying, fighting, arguing. There are so many things going on. People even moving around naked in the dressing rooms, going for a shower or whatever. So this is a place which has been restricted by the ICC for simple reason. Nobody should enter except for players and the support staff. Nobody else can go there. I mean, if the Prime Minister wanted to meet somebody, it was perfectly fine. You going into a dressing room, that too with a camera, where you're not allowed. And with you is the Secretary of the BCCI, also the Chairman of the Asian Cricket Council, along with the Honorable Home Minister of India, who is the Cabinet Minister with in Mr. Modi's cabinet. Now, all this is happening in a dressing room where the atmosphere is very sad. The people are not really in the mood to meet anybody or talk to anyone. But if we went there to encourage them, not that they would have got into depression if we hadn't gone there, there's a beautiful VIP room on the side. Generally, people go and meet into VIP rooms. You leave that place. That's very private. That's very personal. And it's also against the rules of the ICC that you go and visit a dressing room. You shouldn't have done that.
No, Mr. Azad, you will recall President Emmanuel Macron, when France lost the FIFA World Cup, went and consoled his players. It almost seems as if anything that Narendra Modi does is reason for you to target him. I can understand you to some extent saying, why were cameras there? There I can understand. Maybe there was a question mark over having a camera inside when the Prime Minister went to console. But what's wrong if he goes and condoles with the players? He's consoling the players at a time when they've had a very difficult loss. Isn't that what leadership is about?
Yes, I do agree. But FIFA and ICC rules are different. I remember in 1999 when I became a member of parliament for the first time and there was this Hansi Kronia match-fixing case. I was there. I was there in parliament and I had raised this issue. And then you had IPL and then they were fixing charges on various owners of the IPL teams. And it was then ICC decided that nobody can go either into the dugout except players or inside the dressing room. Nobody except the players, support staff, not even family members, not even ex-players. I mean, obviously, I would like to mention Kapil, who was the captain for 83, was not even invited. He can't go. Dhoni cannot go. Mr. Gavaskar cannot go. None of these people can go into the dressing room. So let's follow the law. If you want to meet the players, meet them. Don't go with the camera. Don't make it a kind of a spectacle. Was it something like Aapda mein avsar dhoond rahe the aap? I mean, you have a VIP room, go there and speak to the players, talk to them. That stuff, there's everything, their underwears, their clothes, soiled clothes, shoes, okay, things are lying around. So it doesn't look nice.
Okay, you made your point. You're saying that the dressing room is a sacred place. The Prime Minister shouldn't have entered it. Desh Ratan Nigam, do you want to respond to that? The manner in which the cameras were following the Prime Minister right into the dressing room, clearly the players were not interested at that moment in meeting the Prime Minister.
Well, Rajdeep, there was some audio issue, so I could not hear Kirti Azad, and therefore let me answer. Our Prime Minister is unequivocal in supporting our sports players. And even scientists also, if you recall Chandrayaan-2 when failed, the way he consoled our scientists, he said, never mind, there's always a next time. And similarly, he has been meeting all the sports federation. Remember when Indian women's hockey team lost? And he says, please don't cry. He was in direct touch when they were not even in India, directly calling them, congratulating when they win, and consoling and encouraging them when they lose. So this was a similar incident. You cannot...
Sir, my point is, why should a camera be there? Why should it? Sir, it's a private moment. Why do you need a camera? Then it becomes a feeling that the camera is being used in a way, or the Prime Minister is being accused then of converting it into some kind of a spectacle, according to Kirti Azad. He could have gone there, consoled with them. Why does he need a camera to go along with him?
Let me answer this. The sports rights are given by BCCI to certain organization. It is their cameras. It is not the Prime Minister's cameras. They follow the Prime Minister. It is not the Prime Minister's Doordarshan camera, which officially the Doordarshan goes and the camera goes. It is the rights who have been given to a TV channel, particular TV channel. It is their cameras they went where the Prime Minister went. So it is not the Prime Minister who was carrying those cameras. Please understand that that's a distinction you have to keep in mind. Otherwise, in the Prime Minister's function, the official cameramen are from either Doordarshan or Sunset TV. This is how the protocol works with the Prime Minister.
You know, I want to bring in at this moment Ajoy Kumar of the Congress, because let's be clear, Ajoy Kumar, every political party tries to latch on to our cricketers in victory or defeat. When the cricketers were coming back in 1983, Mrs. Indira Gandhi made sure that they first came to her house. She congratulated them, and then they went to their respective destinations. So it's not as if, whether in victory or defeat, those in power like to latch on to cricketers. Now, when Rahul Gandhi calls the Prime Minister Panauti, the question I ask Kirti Azad, whether it is in 1983, Mrs. Gandhi had nothing to do with the victory. Similarly, Mr. Modi has nothing to do with the defeat. It seemed like a very cheap shot that Rahul Gandhi took on Prime Minister Modi. Ajoy Kumar? Ajoy Kumar, you're on mute. Please unmute yourself.
Yeah, one second. When the Prime Minister himself says that when the crude prices are coming low, I'm lucky. And all these ridiculous statements he's made over the years. Now when you go and lose a match and when somebody makes up a point, which is you are claiming first that when the crude prices are Modi lucky hai, Modi ka kismat hai. Now when you lose it, then you're feeling offended. But the most important point is, I want to tell Mr. Deswatan Nigam, first of all, the Bharatiya Janata Party doesn't send a spokesperson because they're embarrassed to answer this question. The fact is, it's not a TV channel which went there. The Prime Minister has remarkable ability to, and I don't know where they're getting this information. And who put this out? Did the TV channel put it out? Or did Mr. Modi put it out or somebody put it out? Did some TV channel put it out and Mr. Modi went? Or was it an ANI leak? So this whole story about TV channels who are showing the match took the camera along with Mr. Modi is ridiculous. Secondly, I'll complete. Please give me some time. No grace. The team needs to be alone. But this is Modi's opportunity to again Dindora Pita have some sense of some sense of propriety. The team doesn't need a Jabardasti haath pakadna, Jabardasti ghusna, Jabardasti jappi marna. What is this? We don't need. The point is, does any team need Mr. Modi needs the Indian cricket team? The Indian cricket team doesn't need Mr. Modi first. And as far as sports person, what about the female wrestlers who were protesting? Mr. Modi thinks about sports person. Those girls were protesting for molestation, and he had no sense of shame even to call them. And he's concerned about sports. What about Binesh Fogart? What about the tears? What about the molestation by the member of parliament?
No, no, seems to be a case, Ajay Kumar, of damned if you do, damned if you don't. Before the match, there was the Congress's social media cell and various social media cells were, their supporters were saying if India loses, Mr. Modi will not even go to Ahmedabad. Truth is, he went there, he gave the trophy, he goes and consoles the team. Now, the BJP says that's a sign of leadership, that even when the team has lost, the Prime Minister is still there with the team. What's wrong with that?
First question is, he goes to a stadium called Narendra Modi Stadium and changes the name of Sardar Patel. The man they keep claiming, our greatest leader, that stadium was Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel Stadium. And he names it after himself, goes himself, hoping it will. You should have seen the expression on their face, because it was a political stunt. He went there to see if Mr. Modi, and I'll tell you very categorically, did he go to console or did he go to shine his politics? Any child will also say that Mr. Modi was doing it only for political. Even the cricketers knew. Look at their expression. There is no debate. Look at them. They know he's doing a political stunt. I mean, I saw all the cricketers. Look at Virat's face. Look at the other people's face. You think they're happy?
Can I just for a moment, you're using very strong words, and because you're in the opposition, I guess you're entitled to see it the way you do. But Pradeep Magazine, you've tracked this game for years. Do you believe that the dressing room is as sacred as Kirti Azad makes it out to be? Should political leaders enter it at all? Are we saying that the Prime Minister of the country should not enter? Emmanuel Macron, I repeat, was there with Kylian Mbappe, the footballer after France lost the World Cup last year. Are we saying politicians should not be seen with sportspersons after victory or defeat?
Rajdeep, look, I don't want to get into this debate of Congress, BJP, because both political parties, or whichever political party has been the ruling party, has milked cricket for their own publicity purposes. Right now, there are entire BJP, because of the Lodha ban, they can't themselves be office bearers. Their children or brothers are office bearers. I want to raise a larger issue. Look, who politicize? I think today we are at the extreme of politicization of sports and cricket as well. How could we have had Ahmedabad as the center hosting the final? We had Calcutta, we have Wankhede in Bombay. They are the cricketing centers. We make Ahmedabad, okay, it's a huge, grand stadium, but we make cricketers play there a final. The crowd, we saw how embarrassed India was day before yesterday, because there was a crowd which was not interested in cricket. We had film stars being shown repeatedly on television. Was Kirti Azad there? Was he invited? He is the member of the 1983 World Cup winning team. Kapil Dev was not invited. I don't know about Dhoni, but he was not there. So it was a spectacle, it seemed, designed for India winning the World Cup. That is fine. We all wanted India to win the World Cup. They were the strongest team there. But to put so much of pressure on them, I think when you make this that India will win, there are 1 lakh people there inside. The Prime Minister himself goes there. I felt that it was creating a pressure on a team which they didn't need to get so much pressurized. What I'm trying to say is that politics and sports always mix, as he was talking about Macron, but he was also severely criticized by the French press for what he did there by hugging that player, and because he was crying, and they felt that Macron was using that for his own publicity purposes. And there was tremendous criticism there, not from the political parties, but from the supposedly neutral press. So if you politicize the sport, if you take credit for victory as we have provided them with space, money, infrastructure, then in defeat also people will say that, why don't you take responsibility for that?
You make a good point. You make a very good point there, Pradeep, that if you take credit every time India wins, then you must be prepared in a way to also accept flack if you are seen to be politicizing the sport. But Kirti Azad, I come back to it. The way the BCCI is structured, over the years, politicians have always been involved. Whichever is the ruling party, in a way, controls sport, controls India's most popular sport, cricket. The Prime Minister, dare I say, was also, if you recall, President of the Gujarat Cricket Association earlier, as was Amit Shah, as was a Sharad Pawar, as today is a Vaibhav Gehlot, the son of Ashok Gehlot in Rajasthan. So it appears that politics and cricket will always get entangled. In that sense, can you keep cricket away from politics? Is that at all possible in your view?
If the Lodha committee was taken in toto and later on the way the rules were diluted by the subsequent Chief Justices, I'm not, please for God's sake, saying anything against the court, but the way he had made it out, the first draft that had come out, which was accepted by the Honorable Supreme Court, and then over the years, how it got diluted, you got the politicians back into power. But they know how to get into backdoor entries. We have lots of these instances which shows that they have come in. But it was never like this before. Before Lodha, you had people, you had great cricket lovers in Mother House, India. You had great cricket lovers in Mr. N.K.P. Salve. They were great cricket lovers to an extent. Even Sharad Pawar was a very good, great cricket lover. But they never intervened into cricket going to such an extent where they would go and even at times question the selection of the side. This is what I am talking about. Had the Lodha committee, the first draft that was accepted by the Supreme Court, had it been there, the political interference would have been only 5 or 6%, and that would have made no difference.
No, are you saying Jai Shah has no love for cricket? No, Kirti Azad, are you saying Jai Shah has no love for cricket? Is that what you're saying? And that he's actually intervening in selections, pitches and other issues? Is that a charge you're making today? And do you have evidence to back that?
No. No, I'm not. I didn't say that. I said to an extent that we come to know. I'm not saying that Jai Shah is, he's not a cricketer. He's a cricket lover. 1.3 billion people in our country, they love cricket. All of them love cricket. But can you imagine, I read in the newspapers that all the World Cup captains, champion team captains since 1975 are coming to Ahmedabad and are being honored there. And then what I come to know, listen to my captain, the captain who made India the cricketing superpower, where India got its first World Cup in 1987 when ICC had presidents and chairmen because of that 83 victory. You had the TWI, ESPN coming in, 30 cameras, commercialization. It all started during 1983. And here was our captain Kapil Dev, that legendary man, the greatest all-rounder, and I can arguably prove why, was not invited. So can you imagine the kind of, and even MS Dhoni for that matter, just can you imagine the apathy? You see the real or the duplicate Kapil Dev there, dancing there, and you find other film stars. Fair enough, I have no objections. But why not these great cricketers?
Okay, let me take that to Desh Ratan Nigam. You know, Desh Ratan Nigam, the sense that I'm getting is that the charge being made by critics is that this was all event management choreographed. Right down to the point of the Prime Minister coming into the dressing room to console the players. It was all event managed and choreographed. And that's not the way the sport should be. The sport, the players should be allowed to express themselves free of any hyper-nationalism or trying to suggest that there's an inevitability of India winning at all costs the match. Do you believe that the government is playing too much of a role in a sport like cricket because they want to take the glamour and the appeal of cricket on their side?
Well, Rajdeep, let me tell you, if it was choreographed, then probably the government of India knew that India is going to reach final and therefore they fixed Ahmedabad as the center. I mean, how preposterous this is. And the Prime Minister's protocol is decided much before whether India reaches the final or does not reach the final. And then the invitation to the Prime Minister of Australia or their requisite person is also done very well in advance. To stretch it in such kind of wildest imagination, I think it is preposterous. That means India, everything was choreographed. India's reaching the final was choreographed. India's that in advance deciding Ahmedabad over Kolkata or Mumbai was decided in advance. See, 2 semi-finals went to Mumbai and Kolkata. And the largest stadium got the final. Let us keep it at that, as simple. Now, so far as the politicians, interfering in BCCI affairs, there was a proposal in 2011 by Ajay Makan, the then sports minister, to register BCCI as, it was an offer to register BCCI as a national sports federation. BCCI rejected it. He says, we don't want anything from the government. We don't want any grants from the government. Therefore, we will not be under any kind of control of the government. Therefore, government interference cannot take place in this particular body as compared to other national federations where they get grants and assistance from the government. So this is an absolutely different body and government cannot interfere. Yes,
I take your point, but Desh Ratan Nigam, the truth is most of the office bearers of the BCCI at the higher level, most of them, not all, most of them have some links or the other to the BJP or the BJP leadership. So in that sense, and I'm not saying that it hasn't been done by previous governments before, the truth of the matter is the BJP is trying to take over the BCCI. Why not accept that?
See, the fact is, nobody can deny that there is a link between politics and sports all over the world, including India. And therefore, what happens is that there are free and fair elections. If politicians stand and win those elections, then can you stop it? There are no rules or regulations within the BCI or otherwise to stop them from contesting any elections. Otherwise, it will be discriminatory in terms of Indian constitution. Please remember that.
I want to give Pradeep a final word as a journalist who's covered sport for several years. Pradeep, what's the big lesson, the big takeaway then? Is the big takeaway that politicians should simply keep out of the direct functioning of the cricket? They can do their administration, but not get involved. The dressing room in particular must be sacred above all else. Let the players play, and they did spectacularly well during the World Cup. Don't try to latch on to their glamour and appeal.
You're right, Rajdeep. You know, politicians will get into the board or any other sports federation. You can't stop them. You constitutionally or by law, you just can't prevent them from getting there. If they get votes, as Ratan Nigam is saying, if they are elected, they'll be there. But the point is that you do not interfere, as you are saying, with the cricketing matters. I mean, I would have loved to see Mr. Modi is the Prime Minister of the country. He has every right to meet the players. He has every right to encourage them. But I personally would have loved to see somebody like Kapil Dev going into the dressing room at that moment of time, and because he understands, he knows what it means to win and what it means to lose. I mean, to politicize it to the extent that cricket lines get blurred between politics and cricket, it's sad. I think a call should be taken by the politicians themselves that leave sports alone. Yes, reward them when they win, meet them when they win, felicitate them when they win, encourage them if they lose, but don't interfere. Don't make it as if it's about yourself and not about the sport.
Right. I think messages have gone out loud and clear in this discussion. And I hope as cricket lovers, as sports lovers, someone out there is listening. Sports is something sacred, and let's retain that sanctity is what I think many people are suggesting. I appreciate all my guests joining me on my main talking point today.